Hi, my name is Ashley, and I did my project on the movie 500 Days of Summer. In 500 Days of Summer, we follow the two main protagonists, Tom and Summer. Tom is seen as the very fanatical, romantic character. He believes in finding the one, and that soulmates are real, and that fate is what brings people together. And Summer, on the other hand, doesn't agree with that. She's very negative in her beliefs of romance. It was said in the movie that her parents are divorced, and so that kind of exposure in her childhood influenced the way that she thought of love, and that the one doesn't exist, and that soulmates aren't real, and that love is just a fantasy. But even though those two characters are complete polar opposites, they find each other and they come together in a relationship that only lasts 500 days. And throughout the movie, we jump back and forth throughout the days of their relationship, and we figure out why both of them broke up. And throughout the movie, the main protagonist is Tom. So we follow his main point of view of the relationship. We only get to see Summer when we see flashbacks of both of them together, but it's through Tom's perspective. And Tom is a very flawed character. His mindful communication and self awareness of situations is not great. That's another point within their relationship that caused them to break up, is that he wasn't really that aware of the fact that Summer is not a romantical person and he can't change her opinions. And that's something that he was struggling with a lot throughout the movie. In my research on mindful communication, I found out that practicing self awareness is so important to a relationship's outcome, and that having the ability to handle communication in a positive way and being mindful of what you say and how it may come across, or having tough conversations with your partner or whoever it is very important to the outcome of your relationship. And I've learned that positive mindful communication creates a positive relationship overall. And Tom's self concept is very flawed as well. He doesn't really have a true understanding of his inner self. His self worth is based off of how other people view him, and he needs the outside validation within a relationship to feel okay, to be himself, to feel okay in the relationship. He needs the outside validation. And his self-image of himself is very low. Throughout the relationship, he doesn't really input his feelings into things. Summer is a very big part of his like self-image, in that if she's mad at him or if they had an argument, he believes everything is done. Like, we're breaking up, like this relationship is done for, like I'm a horrible person. And he goes through uh like cycles of depression and sadness. And throughout the movie, his friends have to bring him back to reality. And that's a huge part of the movie. And so having a good self concept is very important to your well being. In some research that I found, having a low self concept causes people to not be able to retain relationships. Jobs are hard. Um, if you don't understand who you are as a person and what matters most to you, you'll find that relationships that you seek out aren't aren't truly what you need, if that makes sense. Some of the research I found is that self concept is an important part to relationship choosing and how people choose partners. A lot of people who have low self concept clarity um, choose partners that aren't as fitted to them, compatible with them. And so that is a huge aspect within Tom's relationship because he chose someone that really isn't compatible with him. And lastly, my research on nonverbal communication was a huge part of the movie. Body language is a huge part of expressing their negative feelings towards each other, as well as the honeymoon phase in the start of their relationship as well. So, in the start of the relationship, they were very together, and their eyes lit up when they saw each other. They'd smile very brightly. It showed someone that is infatuated with another person. And then later on in the story, it slowly shows Summer kind of distancing herself from him. And there were some scenes in the movie that expressed her body language in a very strong way, where like the viewers are able to infer about her like feelings in that moment. There was one scene that was very impactful in that they were in a what was it called? Like a music store, and they were like looking at like albums and stuff like that, and she loves the Beatles, and Tom tries to interact with her, but her facial expression says that she's not really in tune with what he's talking about. She's kind of like smiling down, looking at her, not really paying attention to him. And Tom tries to re engage with her by taking out a Beatles album and shows it to her. And she looks at it, gives him kind of like a pitiful smile, and then turns her body away from him and walks away. And Tom notices this and tries to walk up to her and hold her hand. And the scene shows her moving her hand away from him in like a way that she's uncomfortable with him, which is a stark difference from when they first met, where she was all about him and they were having a great time. And so this kind of nonverbal communication was very important to set the tone of their relationship. In my research about nonverbal communication, I learned that being able to read others is a very, very essential skill in understanding other people's motivations, what they truly want, their intentions, their personalities, and being able to discern whether they're trustworthy and credible. So that was a very interesting part to learn about, that I've never really realized that nonverbal communication is so impactful in that way. And so my understanding of nonverbal communication has definitely changed, and I'm going to start to, pay attention to how I'm coming across and how other people are coming across, and being more mindful of that. And that's something I've definitely learned through my research for this project. And yeah, that's the whole essay that I wrote about for this class. Thank you for listening, and I hope everything is going well with everyone, and good luck on a good semester. Bye.